Hi, I'm Charlotte and this is Tired Mama Tries to Read. So I'm going to do a little book haul video. I've just shot my weekly reading vlog, which was dire, so I'm hoping this will actually have some content that is interesting for you. I don't know if you can even see these books in shot. Let me move them to the side. I've bought a ridiculous amount of books in the last month or so, so I may as well just crack on. I bought We Are Okay by Nina Lacour, and this was influenced by Shan of Shani Reads, who loved it. And I just think it's beautiful. Look how gorgeous that is. Amazing design. So the premise of this is Marin hasn't spoken to anyone from her old life since the day she left everything behind. No one knows the truth about those final weeks, not even her best friend Mabel. But even thousands of miles away from the California coast, at college in New York, Marin still feels the pull of the life and tragedy she's tried to outrun. Yeah, it looks so good. And according to Shan, who I believe everything she says because all of the books she recommends are awesome, it was a really good read. She's already whipped through it and finished it, so that was one of those. Then I got Female of the Species by Mindy mcginnis, and this was recommended by Doris from Aldi Books. She loved it and she was saying that it was like a feminist story of our age, that it covers the kind of Me Too movement but in a high school scenario. Yeah, so I believe that it's all about somebody, yeah, here we go. Alex Kraft knows how to kill someone and she doesn't feel bad about it. 3 years ago, when her older sister Anna was murdered and the killer walked free, Alex uncaged the language she knows best, the language of violence. While her own crime goes unpunished, Alex knows she can't be trusted among other people. And it's kind of a high school setting. I think there's a lot of dark stuff goes on in there, but the cover has got all different names for what you might call a woman. So you've got cow, vixen, crossed out is obviously bitch. Yeah. I think those are both kind of teen reads. I don't do a lot of teen reads, and I feel like I should. Women Talking. Probably seen it everywhere, and this is by Miriam toews, and this was these are all booktube because this is Sean the Book Maniac, and this is, as far as he feels, this is his read of the year, so I was like, I've got to have that. This is another dark subject. This is I believe it's a Mennonite community. I think it's based on true story. Yeah, a Mennonite colony where several women, many women, is it 100 girls and women, are knocked unconscious and raped or sexually assaulted in their sleep. And this is Miriam toews's putting voices to those women, trying to discuss how they're going to tackle this awful thing that's happened to them. So it sounds very dark, but it looks awesome. This is a bit dusty. Don't know how that's collected dust already. This is Feminists Don't Wear Pink. So this is And Other Lies, a collection of essays by Scarlett Curtis, curated by Scarlett Curtis, amazing women on what the F word means to them. So this, I believe, is from the Girl Up project. So I think it's like late teens it can be aimed at, but it's got an amazing set of writers, some of whom are famous people. You know, we've got Keira Knightley. Who else have we got? Zoe Sugg, who's quite famous in the UK. I don't know if she's famous anywhere else, but they're quite young go-getters, but then lots of names that I have no idea who they are, and I'm excited. So yeah, I've read a lot of good things about it, and it was like a really cheeky supermarket buy. This is an odd one for me. This is probably one of the only times you'll ever see me having picked up a fantasy book. Or is it sci-fi? I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it's no, it is sci-fi, isn't it? Fantasy's more like dragons and yeah. Please feel free to get really angry in the comments about the fact I don't know the difference. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams, and this is purely because I absolutely love the Netflix series. I was obsessed and devastated that they're not continuing it past series 2. It's a travesty. I found it just really funny, witty, escapism, but just brilliant. And I've read the first couple of pages of this, and this looks really good too. This might be something I could convince my husband to read. There's not many books I can convince him to read. He reads, I think he's only read one book in like the 7 years we've been together. But Maybe this will be number 2, I don't know. Another book, Tom Hanks, Uncommon Type. This has been knocking around for ages. I have no idea if it's any good. It's got some amazing reviews by people like Stephen Fry. Can he ever be wrong about anything? And Anne Patchett, who I've not read, but I kind of know her as being a literary type. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. Have you read it? I would love to know what you think. I do love short stories. I do love Tom Hanks's acting. Don't know much about him politically or anything like that, so he might not be up my street. But interestingly, I've been reading Lizzie Phillips's book, which I'll get to in a second, and she went out with his son, Colin Hanks, which I did not know. So I love celebrity stuff like that. That is one of my guilty pleasures. You probably know that I've bought Wives and Daughters because it was in my Booktober video. It is not something I'm going to be able to read this year, I don't think. It is enormous, but it might be part of a New Year project. I've got something planned for one of my December videos, and that might be part of my project. I also got Bloodchild by Eleanor Rees. This was a cheeky second-hand purchase. She is a poet, I believe a Welsh poet. She lives in Liverpool. She could still be Welsh. She's got Rees as a surname, and there's lots of Griffithses reviewing it, which kind of makes me think Welsh connections. Oh, it's just so beautiful, you know. Moon raked, unable to sleep, I wake landlocked and unwilling to shift beyond my own horizon into a fall of snow or a tired embrace or a landscape of ships and sails, old relics on the shore, or your hand again, or the draw and wreck of the sea on coastal plains that is lapping even now. Literally couldn't want any more from a poet than that. That was just a random page, so that just goes to show how good it is. I also got secondhand Gwyl blaidd, which is translated to the Festival of the Wolf. If you're Doctor Who fans, you might know what blaidd means already, because in the series where Rose is the bad wolf, they see the sign Blithe Droog all over the place. That was Eddie growling because he heard a dog. He's in the room with me again. Yeah, they see the sign Bad Wolf everywhere in the Doctor Who series, in all these different sort of planets and times. And when they go to Cardiff, they see the sign over, I think it's a market, saying Blithe Droog. And Rose says, what does that mean? And the Welsh market person says, oh, it means bad wolf. And she sort of goes, oh. And it's so interesting because the TARDIS translates everything, doesn't it? Doesn't translate Welsh. All these alien planets she's going to, she sees bad wolf. And when she's in Cardiff, she sees Blithe Droog. Anyway, that's a little bit of an aside, but I'm really into Doctor Who at the minute because of the whole female Doctor, so that's what came into my head. This is not about Doctor Who. It is about writing refugees in Wales. Ysgrifennu, oh, that's an interesting word, fywydriad. I've never said that word in my life. Yng Nghymru, in Wales. And these are poems. It's so interesting, actually. It's poems written by refugees, and then they've been translated into Welsh, which is like, I mean, that is just so niche. I can't even imagine someone came up with it and then managed to get it published. But it is published by quite a big publisher in Wales. It's by Parthian. It's quite an old book, I think, but it's got a writer in here who I'm very lucky to know, which is Eric Magali Charles. He is Cameroonian. I'm sure he's in here. I thought his poem might have ended it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, there he is. Eric Magali Charles, my first language. He's an awesome poet. You can find his stuff online, it's really good. Then I got this secondhand, Helen Oyeyemi, I think. The Icarus Girl, which I have, this has been around for a long time as well. I just thought it looked really good. When I remember it being in the shop when I worked there, so I thought I'd get it. It was only, I think, £1, something like that. And then the one that I talked about in my last video, the smile that's come on my face just holding it, is This Will Only Hurt a Little by Lizzie Phillips. And this is my naughty celebrity read that actually turns out to be a real feminist rant and a real political kind of charge. So yeah, it's all is not what it seems. And that concludes, I think, I'm looking around because there's books everywhere in here now. I think that concludes my naughty book buys. I've done well, but not well in the sense of I've got so many to read and not enough time. So if you've read any of those, or if you've heard anything about any of those, I would love to know more. If you're a Doctor Who fan, I would love to know your thoughts on the fact that the TARDIS cannot translate Welsh. Am I the only person who's noticed this? Yeah, okay, that's it. I'm going to go and enjoy the last bit of the sun, the autumn sun, and I hope you're all really good, and I'll see you soon. Bye.